Stiffing that up, bullet pop, little lady. I told you, daddy said.
At Wine House, Jimin sighed and went toward Wine room. He knocked the door, but she didn't reply. He sighed and opened the door. She was lying on her bed with a frame of parents in her hands, and her tears were continuously coming from her eyes. After her parents' death, she kept herself strong in front of public. Nobody can agree that she's the same strong girl crying her heart out in her bed. Jimin sighed and went toward her bed. Wine, stop crying, my little one. Jimin tears her head. Leave me alone. I miss mom and dad. Wine replied while cryingly. I'm here for you, little one. He makes her sit on the bed. Jimin, please agree to this marriage. I have to leave for Korea next week. Wine, why are you leaving me alone here? She started crying again. Jimin, Wine, I have to go back there. You know, your life is in danger. Jimin, Wine, I have to go back there. You know, your life is in danger. After they killed mom and dad, they are behind you because it's only you who knew that was an accident, that was a murder. And for this, you have to change your surname. So when I'm gone, you'll be safe in that name, that way. Jimin, June would be good. I can't trust anyone else. It's just a fake marriage until I find a solid proof against those murderers and hand them to law. Please, I don't want to lose another loved one of my life. I can't bear to lose you, little one. His eyes was watery. She was just looking at him the whole time. Without wasting any second, she hugged him. Tears were flowing from their eyes. She was quiet for some time, and he calmed her down. Wine. I'm ready, she said in her soft voice. Jimin hand went toward her hair and he started patting her hair. Jungkook Bob, I was doing some work on my laptop until my phone rang. She agreed. Jimin's voice came through the phone. Finally, she agreed. JK, okay, we'll discuss everything in person. Jimin, okay, come to my house tomorrow. I dropped the call. He took a glass of drink from the table and looked at it. We have a long way, Bella, you and me, he murmurs and then continued his work. Next morning, Wine woke up with a headache. Her head was spinning. Late night, she kept crying for almost 2 hours. Jimin didn't leave her for a second, and now she woke up with her head spinning. She has to go to the shoot. Her shoot will start at 12 p.m. After getting fresh, she went downstairs. She was walking to her car hurriedly while using her phone until she collided with someone. Ow! She looked up and saw him. He's here. Her eyes connected with him. JK. Be careful, Bella. His soft voice reaches her ear. Before she moved past him, his one hand goes behind her and locks her waist with his arm. He pulls her in a matter of seconds and she collided again with his well-built chest. Wine, leave me, she growled at him. JK, what if I don't, Bella? Wine, I'm not a Bella and don't try to touch me again. She was trying to unloose his grip, but all in vain. JK saw her struggling and smirked because no way is letting her go this easily. He bent down and whispered in her ear. JK, you're going to be soon, June. Wine. Be ready, face. Wine looked up at him with a fiery eyes like she could kill him in a minute. Wine. You know what? I hate you, June. She put her foot on his forcefully. That makes him lose his grip around her. She distanced herself from him. Wine. It will be better if you stay away from me. She smirked and leave from there before he would do something again. While on the way to shoot, she kept thinking about his words. They met after so long. She looked outside the window and took a long breath, remembering the last time they met. Flashback 6 years ago, before Jungkook and Jimin went to abroad. One was happy because today she's going to express whatever she had in her heart for him. She always admires him from afar, the way he cares for her and gets worried about her. Wine starts to take him as her man. She believes he's meant for her. She always gets jealous whenever some girl is approaching her. Her mind is full of Jungkook. It was Jungkook and Jimin farewell party. Everyone was enjoying their time while Jungkook was having fun with his friends when a soft hand grabbed his hand. He looks down to his hand and then upward toward the face. JK, Bella, what are you doing here? He asked softly. Wine, come with me, she whispers. He looked back at his friends and looked back at her again. He nodded. Wine takes him from there, and they reach the backside of the university, where there was no one, no else, and it was silent there. JK, what happened? Are you okay? He asked, getting worried for her. Wine didn't say anything. She didn't know where to start. She looked downward. Hey, Bella. She regretted because she knew she did a mistake. Wine, I'm sorry, she said quickly. He was stilled. He couldn't process what happened. Shaky, what was that, Wine? He called her Wine. She didn't remember when was the first time when he called her with her name. Wine, I love you. I'm sorry. She kept fidgeting her fingers. He looked at her and took a long breath. Wine, I really love you, she said with her soft voice, like she was pleading him not to reject her. JK, Wine, you're 17 and you don't know anything. I can't, Wine. I can't. We're not meant for each other. Before giving her a chance, he left her there. Wine sits there on the ground. Her tears were continuously wetting her cheeks. It was the first time she cried like this. Wine, then why did you give me hopes if you thought I was young? I hate you. I hate you. She kept telling this to herself while crying. Her makeup, which she did for him for the first time, was ruined. After that night, the next day, JK and Jimin went to London. She didn't even come to say goodbye to him. When Wine's parents died, Jimin came back to Korea and took her with him because her life was in danger. Flashback ends. She came back home at night. She prayed that Jungkook wouldn't be at home because she doesn't want to face him. Jimin, you're back? Mine. Yeah, she comes and sits beside him. Jimin, Wine, your wedding will be in 3 days. Wine, but Jimin, I know it's quick, but I have to leave for Korea in 3 days and I want to do it as soon as possible. Without replying to him, she went in her room. She lay down on her bed with a frame of her parents' picture. Wine, I miss you. Her phone vibrates. She looked at it and it was a message from June. Jiggy, be ready tomorrow, Bella. We are going to buy you a wedding dress. I didn't have the chance to choose my husband and he's telling me to buy a wedding dress. Iconic. Jiggy, don't put force on your little brain. Soon to be June. Wine. Be ready at sharp 9 a.m. See, she still didn't reply to him and went to sleep. Take it off. He's looking at the messages he sent to her. He knows she is not going to reply him. He sighs and put his phone on the side table. JK, I'll make sure even if you didn't have the choice of selecting your husband, you'll not regret it, Bella. He murmurs, looking at the frame in which Wine and Jungkook were laughing. He remembers. Flashback. Welcoming back after leaving her alone in the university, I banged my hands to the steering wheel hardly. I knew this was coming. I knew, but I hadn't thought she would confess this soon. She is 17 years old and I am 22. This is not the time, Bella. You and me, you're not meant for each other. Bella, it was my mistake. I shouldn't have left you mistaken. I should have controlled myself. At midnight. Next day is my flight to London. I was in my home, standing in my balcony. Her room light is off. It means she's asleep. I kept looking at her room. With taking bigger steps, I jump into her balcony. It was the first time I'm going like this in her room. Her window is open. I went inside and saw her sleeping figure. Her face was shining under the light of the lamp beside her. I walked toward her slowly and sat beside her on the floor. I don't know what I'm doing here, but I can't see her like this. I'm sorry, Bella, but this is not the right time for us, he whispered and kissed her forehead. He was there for the whole night looking at her. He didn't make any noise because he didn't want to wake her up. The next morning, Jungkook and Jimin were ready to leave. While getting in the car, he waited outside and looked at the balcony of Vine. She didn't come to say goodbye to him. Jimin, hey buddy, let's go, or we'll get late for the flight. JK, huh? Yeah, let's go. When they both sat in the car, she was there, standing in the balcony looking at the car which left. Her tears left from her eyes. I hate you, June, she sobbed and went inside.
Alright, stiffen that up, bullet pop, little lady. I told you, daddy said.